Hey guys, this is the Hake Report. Maybe we should play my little intro song if you can find it. Just start playing it once you find it. I am James Hake of the Hake Report. Many of you guys might not know me. Well, you know me. Come on. You've been watching my news reports. If you haven't been watching the Hake Report, I am live every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, and that's 11 a.m. Central time on my channel, the Hake Report. But for now, I'm streaming on Jesse's channel. It's just easier. This is our first time doing this. Please bear with us, and I will get to your calls in a sec.
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the
Very nice.
Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, welcome to the show. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll be on all this hour. It is 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern. So, welcome guys. How's this? Fun, right? I want to get to your calls. And so, oh shoot, what do I have going on? I have noise going through my phone. Is that your phone or my phone?
Mine.
Oh, okay. So, wait, who is that?
Maybe it's Daniel. Maybe you have your thing on.
Oh, Daniel, turn off your, you have your microphone on, I think, Daniel. Something's going on out there. So anyways, I wanted to talk about fake Christians. And I gave you a folder with a couple of pictures in it. I couldn't find there was this meme that I wanted to show that is kind of funny. It's supposed to be a joke, but it's kind of revealing. And this meme talks about how people have become very, very, very degenerate. And I like that word. I think it might be a Nazi word, but I think it's still a good word, degenerate, because people have accepted evil as good. And the biggest example I can think of is Pete Buttigieg. He's a man who's pretending to be a Christian, apparently, and he is mayor of South Bend, openly homosexual, and he, according to the New York Times, Mayor Pete is plenty gay. And yeah, he wants to make governing great again, so says Vox. He's being promoted by all the liberal media who hate Trump and love evil. Watch Pete Buttigieg say good morning in 7 languages, so says The Week. They're bragging about him knowing languages, but he doesn't know that he's supposed to be attracted to women only. But anyways, this man is so fake. He's talking about, I don't see how Trump is a Christian. I spoke about it at the top of this show, actually, of the Jesse Peterson show. How this man is saying, I don't see how he can be a Christian because he doesn't humble himself before God or anyone. I doubt that Pete Buttigieg has even ever met or spoken with President Trump, because everyone, and I mean liberals, conservatives, everyone who has met with Trump, his worst detractors, have said Trump listens. He's a very good listener, and he's humble with them. So Pete Buttigieg is lying, because he's never seen Trump humble himself before anyone. He's never seen Trump. He's only seen Trump on TV, basically. I bet you he's never seen Trump in person. And anyways, who is he to judge? He's a radical homosexual. So so fake. And he talks about my interpretation of the scripture and stuff like that. He's criticized Democrats for rejecting Christianity, and I understand he's right about that. Democrats have rejected Christianity, and he wants to be one of those Christian Democrats, which is it's a contradiction of terms, but it's a mess. He's deranged, as Fran Rushy says. But he talks about my interpretation or how I understand Christianity. It's all making stuff relative and it's so liberal and intellectual. Christianity is not about intellectualism. And yeah, I can't stand that stuff. Stephen Colbert is another guy. Did you know that Stephen Colbert, he's a late night host, he considers himself a Christian. And he's like one of those liberal fake Christians. And they have this fake humility about themselves that's not humility. So they have this criticism of Trump. And there's a lot of conservatives who do this too, who criticize Trump as not being humble. And there are people who act like Trump. Okay, so they act like Trump is not humble, and they're not even people that I would consider RINOs. But I guess Trump really reveals people. So if you're even like a normal conservative, and you're judging Trump as not being humble, you're the one who's not humble. So anyways, I went to his Christian college. I did not know that everybody at this Christian college basically is a liberal. All of my friends, I went to this Christian college called Azusa Pacific University. And I don't like trashing people or organizations or stuff, but it is liberal and it has gotten worse. I've seen story after story of them like promoting homosexuality, then taking it back, saying that you can be a Christian and have same-sex relationships, sexual relationships. It's a mess. They don't know which way is up. Misty Moriton says on Super Chats, has there been a minority gay/lesbian Democrat who has ever made a city or state better? I'm afraid it's a lost cause. That's one thing about this Mayor Pete Buttigieg, a millennial who's thinking of running for president. He was a Navy veteran. And why are the gays all in the Navy? He supposedly made South Bend better, which I don't know if that's true because somebody else gave a super chat yesterday or so and said that South Bend has gotten worse. And so maybe on a physical level, because, you know, intellectuals may make something a little bit better, but then spiritually they make it worse. Pardon my spit. Spiritually, they make stuff worse. I think that's what's happening because it's kind of like the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. Yes, because you're giving free, so-called free health care to some people, which is not really health care, it's health insurance, but you're giving free stuff to people. People are going to benefit on a physical level to that a little bit, but it's such ill-gotten gain, and it's corrupting. It's just like I was reading the news about this this free money, this universal basic income that I believe Finland tried out. They are giving away stuff, and Jesse talks about this all the time. Free stuff, it spoils you, it corrupts you, and it makes, yeah, of course they're going to have more psychological fake peace, but it's not the right kind of lasting peace. And so it's a mess. And also at Azusa Pacific University, my old school, my alma mater, they have this thing where they're celebrating this man who's been the president since even when I was there. I think his name is Jim Wallace. They're celebrating his 40 years at Azusa Pacific University, and isn't that sad? I used to kind of like this guy because he would speak in chapel when I was going there, but he has seen across 40 years, Azusa Pacific University and the culture at large has taken a major decline. 40 years ago, they were not accepting homosexuality as normal. The Christians weren't. But now, like, they're fighting about, yes, accepting it as normal. In these Christian colleges, they're accepting Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. And one point that Jesse made, and then I will get to your calls, in church with Jesse Lee Peterson is excellent. It's what brought me to Bond, and it's what kept me at Bond. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson every Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. And we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. Bond Rebuilding the Man, follow him. He said that what is the difference between a liberal and a conservative? He said a liberal has anger. If you have anger, you're a liberal. Even if you identify politically as conservative, you're still serving liberals' interests. That's what I took it to mean. Because when, it's just like these people that shoot up places. That serves liberals' interests, even if they don't consider themselves liberals. Some of these, like, mass shooters, which some of them are kind of liberals, to be honest. But anybody with anger is serving evil because you're not thinking straight. So anyways, let me go to Vincent, real fast, out of North Carolina, first-time caller. Vincent, how you doing?
Hey, James. Are you there?
Yes,
Hey, how are you doing?
fine, sir. How about you?
I'm doing well. So I guess my question is going to be kind of extreme. I don't know how extreme I can be on your program.
Okay.
My question really was about certain Jewish actors puppeteering certain aspects of the media and Hollywood and academia. I just wanted to know, do you recognize that as something that's happening?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
they are big time.
Okay. Do you think that they're? So what do you think the punishment should be for what they're doing?
The punishment: don't watch their movies, decry them, boycott them, the same way that you would treat anybody else who's pushing evil. And there's more than just Jews pushing evil. There's like these black liberals, Hollywood people, and I would assume that there's normal whites.
Yeah, but James, we all know that they're not the masterminds behind all this, right?
But mastermind doesn't matter, because there's always going to be a mastermind and there's always going to be a follower, right? And evil doesn't matter if you're smart, if you're leading, or if you're following. And God doesn't care about that either. That's why I like Jesse, because he says if the people weren't in a fallen state, they wouldn't be following these masterminds. And that's something that I don't think that all the people that are into blaming the Jewish so-called masterminds are catching on about. You have to blame the
Well, it's
followers
kind of like
just as
it's
much
like
as the
going after
leaders.
If you went after like a street drug dealer versus a cartel, leader, that's a totally different situation, right?
I guess, but there's
James, how
both,
can you say-
but they're both
how can you
evil.
say
They're
that-
both supporting. They're both supporting the. If there were no street level people, the cartel wouldn't have any market. So you
but
got to go
James,
after the people, and that's
don't you
why I
think
like
that-
Jesse, because he's waking up the followers, and maybe even, I don't know, maybe some of the masterminds. I don't know.
Yeah, but isn't equating African Americans who make $20,000 a year to $500 million Jewish puppet masters influencing hundreds of millions of people? Isn't this a little bit different?
No, because it doesn't the money
It's
doesn't
just all
matter. It's
evil.
the if they didn't have the blacks on their side, if they didn't have the blacks supporting evil, then that would be that many more. It's not about numbers, in all honesty. It just takes a few
yeah.
people to wake up, and it's not even really about money. Trump didn't spend a whole lot of money. He has money. He has his own money, and that was nice because he wasn't able to be, like, I guess, choked out. And we should have, as Christians, we should have our own money that we don't have to rely on others. But in 2012, maybe he backed down because he was going to be boycotted or something. I heard. I don't really remember the story. But in 2016, 2015, all that stuff, he did not back down from telling the truth. And that is inspiring to both to the people who want somebody to stand up. We've been itching for someone to stand up and not back down because we're so sick of people apologizing. And I'm going to get to some guy who apologized, Stephen A. Smith. But he did not back down. And that woke up a lot of people in terms of, I don't know, there's a whole lot of people who were supporting Democrats, blacks, even Hispanics. And there are people who call Jesse's show lesbians and illegal aliens and blacks and Jewish people. They're hearing Jesse and waking up. They're hearing Trump and waking up. So I wouldn't worry about making a special, I don't know, pastime out of attacking the Jewish fallen state people as opposed to all of the fallen state people. Because
but
the
isn't
children
that
of the
kind of
lie, the people want to act like the children of the lie. I see people taking Jesse's children of the lie and putting it in the triple parentheses as though only Jews are children of the lie. That's a fallen state type of thinking. That shows that those people are also children of the lie. The Jew blamers are also the echoes are also in that fallen state and serving. In fact, you're serving the Jews or the so-called like fallen state children of the lie by doing that.
James, do you really believe this stuff?
Yeah, what you talking
You really
about?
believe that you're helping them by doing that?
I believe that you're helping them by doing that. Yeah.
Okay, got you. So I guess I have one more question.
Okay. Cool.
Do you think that it's kind of they're enacting some sort of biochemical warfare against the American people in the sense that
Turning the
I
frogs
go to
gay.
Whole Foods?
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put anything past any of these people.
They're putting fluoride and other chemicals.
I heard of that in the
poisons
water.
In the water.
Yeah, and hate to admit to this, but I don't hate to admit to it, but I drink tap water. Maybe that's what's going on with me. But yeah, I wouldn't put anything past these people. You really can't. That's why I don't believe, this anti-vaxxer, vaxxer, pro-vaxxer stuff. I don't know what the truth is, but I don't trust the media or the experts who are basically shutting down the anti-vaxxers. And I think that maybe both are lying a little bit, or maybe both are going a little too far. Maybe there's a little bit of truth in both sides, or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think that there could be some biochemical warfare stuff going on.
Got you. Okay. All right. Well, those are my two questions. I'm sure you've got plenty of callers.
Right on, Vincent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Paloma, first-time caller out of Illinois. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you, Jake?
I'm doing fine. Yeah,
Not
a lot of
Jake.
people call me
James
Jake.
from the Hake.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
Yep. Thank you.
I like the new format. If you keep doing this, I'll keep listening to you.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thanks.
So I don't have a question, but a comment. I was listening to a talk show radio yesterday, a Christian radio, 950, and it's called Relevant Radio in Chicago.
Okay.
And they had this guy who's supposed to be like an expert Christian, and he's talking to his audience. And the question was, would you support a pro-choice candidate, and why? And he went on about, life is beautiful, we're pro-life, we respect all humans.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he goes, but if the other candidate, if the choice is a white supremacist, then
Boogeyman.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Then he will vote for the pro-choice candidate.
Unbelievable.
That reminds me of Lucy.
Was shocked.
That reminds me of Lucy Flores, whatever her name is, out of Nevada, the woman who's the first woman to accuse Biden of making her uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She said that she would vote for Biden over Trump, even though she felt that he sexually harassed him or her or something. But that is so ridiculous. So it sounds like a liberal Christian.
Oh, yeah. Chicago, they have Democrats, that are...
So-called Christian.
What is it called? Christians, Democrats, or whatever.
Oh,
They
yeah. Jesse interviewed one of those.
I think Jesse sat down with one of them in one of his Fallen State shows. I saw that interview. And the guy yesterday on the radio just proved the point that they are so sick in their head. They have TDS on steroid.
Trump derangement syndrome on steroids, yeah. It is so messed up. And white supremacist is such a boogeyman. Like that boy that I was talking to, I forget his name just now, the guy that was blaming Jews or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You know something?
Some people would call him a white supremacist.
Yeah.
But he never mentioned race. He just, Vincent. He was just blaming Jews, and a whole lot of people are blaming Jews. But since if he was white, I bet you they're calling him a white supremacist.
Yeah.
But his problem is not white supremacy. His problem is maybe he's blaming. It sounded like he was. I don't know.
It's weird.
But these people, it's no different from the Democrats who are blaming. It's no different from the conservatives who are blaming the media. There's a lot of conservatives who are like, helpless, and they just blame the media. But then they act like they're too busy to fight back. They're too busy working and stuff like that, making excuses for not standing up and fighting back and stuff like that.
Yeah, when you're playing the blame game, there's always somebody else to blame for your problems.
A whole lot of victims out there.
Yes.
Appreciate it,
But
Paloma.
keep up the great work, man.
Thank you.
We love you too.
All right. Take care.
Be good. You too. Bye.
All right. Let me get to Martin out of Holland. First time caller to the Hake Report, maybe. Martin, how are you?
Yes, James. How are you?
Hey, I recognize your voice. You've called into Jesse before. Are you on speaker right now?
Yes. No, but I called via Skype, so sometimes
Oh, I see.
I think the
Yeah, you're fine.
connection isn't that great, you know.
Okay.
But I just want to comment you on your show. You know, it's very good, the things that you're doing. And I just want to say that here in Holland, we have the same. It's like, you know, America is like 2 years ahead because we had elections here the 20th of March.
Yeah.
And the people voted in, let's say, how you would call it, conservative.
Yeah.
But the media and all the other parties, you know, it's a bit different here,
Right.
electoral system. But it's the same. The guy came out of nothing, you know. He's a young guy, you know. He
Yeah.
came out of nothing, and he became the largest party because you have different parties here, like 5 or 6 or
Wow.
more even.
Nice.
And he became the greatest, and now they're trying to, how you call it, they try to shut him down, you know?
Yeah. Wow, that's terrible. But that's so common. It's like presidential harassment, like what Trump has been tweeting about. They're trying to harass the president.
Yes. Yeah, but it's just harassment. So my question to you is,
Yeah.
the way you feel about it, but because now, you know, I listened to Jesse now for, let's say, 6 months. I woke up, you know,
Yeah.
things are starting to turn around. But now that you can see things, you know, because before I wouldn't have seen this, you know, I would have liked, you know, I wasn't that interested in politics and stuff.
Right.
But now you see it. It is so much fun, you know. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have the same. How you feel about it with there when you see that they're trashing Trump, but you see they can do nothing, you know?
Yeah.
They're just, it's like fish out of the water. They're just running wild because they can't do nothing.
Okay,
Is that
yes.
the same, you know?
That is very refreshing to see somebody finally fighting back and winning and confounding
Yes.
the enemy. It is very refreshing. And as a white man, I get really annoyed really fast with people just blatantly lying. They say there's this meme out that you want to make a Democrat mad, tell them the truth. You want to make a Republican mad, tell him a lie to him, whatever. I don't know. I butchered that, but anyways, it has been so nice and refreshing to see people, and Jesse does this too. Like he has you can't really get him down, no matter what's going on. Yeah. He's presenting the news, but he's calling out evil, but he's not mad about it or ugly or down. And Trump is the same way. He's like always happy. You can't get him down.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, go on.
No, that's all. Yeah, it is, and it is very fun to see that.
They are happy, but they have some. You know what they say? They have peace with them when they tell the truth. You know, because I recognize this in my own life now. You know, when you know I'm married now, so you know people will, you know, I don't know, you have a lot of callers who called when they were in the foreign state, and now that they came out of it, they know how to handle their wives now.
Are you the one who called Jesse's show and you asked how to forgive dead parents? Yes.
I'm the one with 14 years, and my father, he went around and, you know, did what he did. He killed my mother, my sister, and my grandma.
Yeah.
But, you know, I tried to call, you know, I just wanted to say that it's so amazing when you see that nothing in life is that important to get one bit or one iota mad about it or depressed or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, it is the same when you see, let's say, the Great White Hope or what is happening here in Europe now. You can't be mad at those people, but it's another thing just to see and observe what is happening. It gives you, I won't say, it's joy. I think the word is joy. You just feel like, you see what is happening, and you know that how do you say it? You can't see the people now. Before, sometimes you heard somebody say something like, he made a great statement or something, but then later on you saw he was a fake.
Right.
But now you can see the people moving. You see, I don't know, you see directly from, hey, this is real, He's not making this up.
I know what you're talking about, Martin. Man, it's nice to hear from you. And it's nice to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah. It's really good. It's you can't even say good or well. It's amazing. It's like, all those words, now you understand, And
Right on,
now
Martin.
I understand why he asked, at every call, will you call me back? Because I called back a few times, but, the intellect was still, talking with me.
Okay. Cool, Martin.
Yeah.
Nice to hear from you. I'll talk to you again.
Thank you, man.
All right, take care.
I call again.
All right.
Yeah. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
All right. Man, it's so nice to hear people that are really taking the advice and running with it. Because I think that most people, and I've heard that, like I mentioned this on Sunday, it seems like most people are going to hell. They say, wide is the road that leads to destruction, such as the people that drink the tap water. Josie Gray says, James, don't drink the tap. It will mutate you. Thank you, Josie, for the tip and the super chat. Wide is the road that leads to destruction, and many will take it. And they say somebody said in the super chat earlier today, if the people that are going with the flow, most people are living together, having sex out of wedlock and stuff like that. Most people are doing it, right? But each person individually suffers. And they say that somebody said in the super chat, everybody who's going with the flow, they will all drown. And drowning is like the most isolating suffering that you can bring upon yourself. Well, I don't know. One of the isolating suffering. It's a metaphor, whatever. But anyways, it's everybody who drowns, who does this, going in the same direction, suffers. So it doesn't help you. It doesn't lessen your suffering just because everybody else is doing it. You're going to suffer doing wrong. And it's so nice seeing a few people, many people actually, waking up. And it doesn't take many to win, because good's supposed to win, right? Only few are entering the kingdom of heaven, right? And so if only a few, they're going to defeat the many who are going to hell. So, I could be misquoting that, but whatever. Alex, I'm not supposed to say whatever. Somebody commented and said that I lessen the impact when I say whatever. Sorry, guys. I did catch myself finally saying that. Anyways, Alex out of PA, first timer. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Fine.
I guess I want to ask, do you think, like, the Democratic Party as a whole, do you think they deep down actually want Beto, Bernie, or Joe because they're white males? Do you think they actually want them, or do you think they're going to try to cast them out and try to get like a minority or like a woman in?
I think that's happening already. Like, people are acting like Beto O'Rourke is saying nothing new, that he's just all an empty suit. They are excited about him. Some of the Hollywood people are excited about him, but they just wanted him over Ted Cruz, really. They don't want him over Kamala Harris or possibly Cory Booker. I can't see Cory Booker beating out Kamala Harris. But yeah, and that's what they're doing with Joe Biden. They're taking out the white man. And Joe Biden too. Another thing about Joe Biden, the way that he's very like gregarious, meaning like he'll just talk openly, say whatever. And that is no longer allowed, and the way that he's very free with people, like he'll take liberties and like hug them and stuff. Normal people nowadays, I don't know about you, but I was trained not by my parents, but trained by like the broader culture, not to even like lay a finger on people without being concerned about how it might appear. People might think, oh, rapist, oh, pedophile, oh, whatever. And they've trained men to fear that, to have fear about how they might come off when it's not even really in their mind. They've put it in people's minds. I don't know. But so they're taking out the white man. Yeah.
Do you think that his actions, Joe Biden, do you think that his actions were inappropriate? So I know Jesse has, I've been listening to what Jesse had to say on it, and I don't think Jesse thinks that it's inappropriate. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
I've seen them. Where
they're pretty bad. I mean, you can apparently see that he's trying to get those little kids. I'm not saying that he's a pedophile or anything like that, but it's inappropriate. I think it is.
I don't know if it's inappropriate. I couldn't say, but I can say that it is on the high end of like the acceptable amount of touching.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's more than a lot of people are comfortable with, especially nowadays. So I understand. I understand both sides, I guess. I'm gonna be a beta male and take the easy way out.
I got one more thing. Do you know who the Hodge twins are?
I have heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're two. They're really funny. They're comedians, but they're really funny, and they're two black conservatives.
Yeah.
And
or
I
mixed
just want
guys
to
or
see if
something.
maybe you can try to get them on because they actually follow Jesse on Twitter.
Right.
I don't know if you want to try to get them to get on a Jesse show or even your show.
The best thing to do. The best thing to do is tell the producer, I'm no longer the producer. Thank God. Not that I didn't like being the producer, but it's like no longer being the producer and moving on to the next thing. I feel that it has fulfilled what I was talking about with improving Jesse's show, such as getting rid of a lot of the news breaks and me jumping in and presenting the news, even if I'm not the most professional yet. It's people know me and it's kind of entertaining. So, contact producer at Jesse Lee Peterson, or you can tag us on Twitter, stuff like that. But that's the best way. Appreciate it, Alex. Nice to hear from you.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. There's fake Christians who are liberals and fake Christians who are so-called conservatives, and it's a mess. And that's why the conservatives have become such losers. And I can't really blame, I can't really blame the alt-right, the young people, for hating the older people and hating boomers and blaming them. You shouldn't do that, but you have to admit that conservatives and Christians in America, supposedly the silent majority, whatever, have been losing. And they're losing because they're weak. And people have become Black Lives Matter kiss-ups. InterVarsity, I believe, is like a Christian group out of a college group. And they're in a bunch of colleges, bunch of college campuses. And they're having Black Lives Matter so-called Christians speaking at their events. We had somebody on the show, Greg Zhao out of InterVarsity, I believe is the group, defending having Black Lives Matter speak at their event, so-called Christian event. And InterVarsity Press, I believe, they publish a whole lot of Christian books, and I believe that they published the NIV Bible, the New International Version Bible. And I like that Bible. It's the one I grew up on, but I've heard that it's not a faithful translation and stuff like that. But the point is, these people are involved in translating the Bible, promoting Christianity, but they're promoting a fake Christianity. If they're having Black Lives Matter kiss-ups and homosexuality is rising in a bunch of the churches, and both sides are kissing up to women, even if conservatives are not politically kissing up to women in their own personal lives, I believe there's probably not one person who's not guilty of having kissed up to women in the wrong way in their own personal lives, because I'm talking about men, because of that beta male syndrome. That's a beta male, what did I call it on Sunday? It's like an epidemic. Anyways, let me get to some callers. Grant out of South Carolina. Good to hear from you, Grant.
Hey, James. Congratulations on the new segment or whatever.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You were talking about fake Christians today, and the other day, 2 days ago, Alyssa Milano on Twitter, she's like one of these people that's in the, like they're attacking Georgia, saying they're not going to make films there.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They do the abortion thing. And she tweeted out, I love God. I believe in God, but I don't believe my personal beliefs, of which we can't confirm, should override scientific facts and what we can confirm. And then she quotes the Bible.
Yeah,
she quotes the Bible, and she says, if I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? And I'm just like...
Excuses.
Somebody else commented back, is like, did you seriously just quote the Bible to justify abortion?
Right. These people, they don't believe in real science. It's fake science. They don't believe in actual science. Science says that's a life in the womb that you're killing. And
exactly.
And then they don't even have science on their side with regard to the so-called climate change thing. That's a consensus that they're pushing. And it's a political consensus. It's not scientific consensus. Anyways.
Well, that's the funny thing. Scientific consensus is an oxymoron.
Exactly.
Science doesn't work on consensus at all. Science works on fact and truth.
Yep. What a mess. Alyssa Milano, what a joke. People are in a fallen state, to use that word, if people are listening to her and joining with her. Such a nasty woman, as Trump says.
Nasty, dirty, evil woman.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they're showing themselves. And you're referring to Georgia, I guess, has this law that they're trying to pass or have passed that is like a heartbeat law, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If a child has inside the womb has a heartbeat, then you cannot abort the baby. And one of my guests on my show a couple Sundays ago, it's 6 weeks after conception, according to Daniel, said that he doesn't support that because many women don't even know they're pregnant until after the heartbeat is evident. And I say too bad. So anyways.
I totally agree, man. I mean, I'm with you. Conception is when it happens.
Yeah, that's clear cut. Anyways,
exactly.
I got to move on. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you hanging on.
No problem, man.
All right, take care. Cody out of California. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you. By the way, real quick, let me interrupt you. Josie Gray says, I'm poor, but I care. LOL, no tap. Thank you, Josie Gray. Appreciate the super chat. All right, go for it, Cody.
I wanted to run some thoughts by you. I was listening to Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And, she was just, talking about how she would be in support of reparations for black people in America. And I was thinking about Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And how he got into some trouble 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they seem the same to me. Like, here we have somebody wanting reparations. They want somebody... Like, let's say the slave owners are more closely related to me because I'm white, and they're black, so they're most closely related to descendants.
Yeah.
But what they want is to have somebody who wasn't the actual party who committed the injury to pay back somebody else who wasn't actually injured.
Yep.
And what Liam Neeson was doing was saying, well, just because I'm more genetically related to the people that did the injury, and just because they're more genetically related to the people that got injured, well, then they all up on Liam Neeson because he was like, well, somebody raped someone in my family. I'm going to go make somebody that's genetically similar to them pay for it.
Wow.
So they're like, oh, that's racist. That's racist. That's exactly what reparations is.
Yeah.
Is, well, we're going to find somebody that's genetically similar to the people that hurt me, and I'm going to make them pay for it.
That's a good point, man.
So
robbery.
They're all trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
The whole hoax is that they've turned this race card into something that only they can play. We can't be racist. Everybody else is, and you're all Nazis. And we're going to do all this racist stuff, even though when it's done to us, we say, oh, that's racist.
I love when Trump accuses them of being racist. He accused April Ryan, I think. April Ryan's a black reporter out of, I don't know, CNN or something stupid. That's such a racist question. Why would you ask that? And he's called other people racist. It's fun. It's fun to see him fighting back and just calling things as he sees it. And he does not back down from the stupid accusations of racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, or deadbeat dadism, or anti-Semitism.
One other thing I wanted to talk to you about was someone called into, I believe it was Jesse's show, but the message is the same. Then they just claim the Bible is infallible, and that's what I believe, and they're really doing themselves a disservice. And what Jesse's teaching is correct, that the true word of God will be written on your heart once the Holy Spirit puts it there.
Yeah, and even like Bible believers.
A home that's,
oh, sorry, I was interrupting. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. The Holy Spirit won't enter a home that's filled with anger, rage, resentment. That's just not where the Holy Spirit likes to hang out. So you have to get rid of, you got to clean your house up before you can even get the Word of God. But they're just like, well, the Bible's infallible. It's like, well, that whole story of the prostitute washing Jesus' feet with her hair, and then Jesus saying, he without sin cast the first stone against her, none of that was in the book of John for the first 400 years.
I remember hearing
the books of John, and that story just not in it.
Those are two stories.
400
but
years later, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I heard that the one where they caught the prostitute and they were about to stone her, and somehow they didn't catch the guy, but he started drawing in the sand. I heard that was not in it for a while. That's interesting.
Yeah, just added in and so it's not like a translation issue. They have books of John from, before Constantine kind of took over the church, and they got lots of copies of the book of John, and it's not like it's hard to read. It just skips right over that. That whole story was just not in there for 400 years.
Yeah.
And so, when it's something that big and egregious, you have to, I think people just got to understand this book has been the subject of manipulation. People have tried to use it to get their own messages in there. People have tried rewriting it. People have, created the whole Mormon religion.
And people's
add more books on and get more messages put in there.
And people's understanding of,
just saying.
And people's understanding of these of words themselves, even if the words themselves are kind of faithful to what it's saying, words can be taken in so many different ways nowadays. And people do it, and that's why it's so easy on both sides of this argument to get sucked into an intellectual, prideful conversation, like argument, where you just say I always get sucked into saying, even if you're a Bible believer, the Bible itself tells you the very things that Jesse's saying, that Jesus said that he will send the Spirit that will teach you all things, and God said that he would write his word on their hearts, and all those things are from the Bible, and it's not in the Bible that you're going to continue to sin, but they act like they're going to continue to sin, and they act like it's so clear-cut, the whole Jesus and God question. All those things, but those are just intellectual arguments that are distractions, and one of the things that I appreciate about Jesse not being so intellectual is that he cuts to the heart of the issue. And like what you said was so true about the Holy Spirit not coming into somebody with an angry heart. And Jesus says that if you don't forgive others, then God won't forgive you. It's so plainly there, but people act like it's extra biblical to say that you should forgive your parents, when it plainly says honor your father and mother.
It's the same way they treat black kids today. They just tell them, just give up. you're up against white supremacy.
Yeah.
And
it's the
they're gonna
same
consider you a
excuse, huh?
loser. And that's the same thing Christians are doing. They're like, you know what? You're just gonna sin, so don't even try. Just take this other interpretation, which says that Jesus died, so you could just do whatever you wanted.
Yep.
You don't need to change your life. Don't change your life. Don't stop sinning. Just keep sinning and know that it's all good. And it's like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you know, people always make the argument like, oh well, the Bible's the most published book on earth. It's like, yeah, and the road to destruction is broad and wide.
Yeah.
So if everybody could just read the Bible and be saved from doing that, well, the path to salvation would be broad and wide.
And we wouldn't have lost our country.
People that decide, hey, this book was inspiring me to get to know God.
Yeah.
But and they have to, because they don't have the Holy Spirit in their heart, because they're still filled with anger and rage.
Blind.
But they, so what they do is they just they get their book and they say, this book is it.
And feel
They
better.
have all the instructions for me, and I don't have to do any work. I'll just memorize Bible passages and sound smart, and that's not going to get you. Angry people don't go to heaven.
Yeah.
People in heaven aren't going to want to hang out with angry people for eternity.
There's a little bit of truth in the lies, like when Obama said that they're Bible clingers, clinging to their guns and Bibles, and meanwhile they're losing their country and their souls.
Yep.
They're just as good as liberals. They are liberals. It's like, anybody with anger is a liberal, even if they think they're conservative. Appreciate it, Cody.
Run it on your own channel.
Yeah.
I went over there.
Oh, okay.
What's happening? It's not
Yeah.
starting. I went back to Jesse, so I was like, here's the party.
Right. Maybe we'll switch it. Maybe we'll switch it next time. We'll let you guys know.
All right.
Appreciate it, Cody. Nice to hear from you, man.
Hey, take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
you too. Take care. Real quick, Ledge Klinger 00000 says in Super Chat, referring to Joe Biden and the inappropriate touching, Jesse's point is that if you have an opinion on it, then your mind is in the fallen state. We need to be present and aware at all times. Watch your brain, watch your mind. Nice point. Whatever your name is. Tiffany out of Florida, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
First timer. Nice.
Yes.
Doing fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, so basically you were talking to Jesse last week, or maybe it was this week, in regards to why Muslims are able to run for office. And I actually found something really interesting that I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
You recall back in 1990, Congress actually went back on a bill that they had. There was a ruling Muslims were not allowed to run all the way from 1992.
You're really breaking up, Tiffany. I'm sorry, but I gotta put you on hold to see if you're okay. So Daniel, fix Tiffany's phone if you can. But she's talking about a ruling in 1990 that said Muslims can't run for office. Interesting. Christian out of North Carolina, first timer. How are you doing?
All is well, thank you, Jake. How about yourself?
Doing fine, thank you.
I appreciate what you and Jesse are doing. And I can say that ever since I've been watching your show, it's been truly amazing.
Yeah.
Everything has been revealing. And it seems that as of now, since, I took the initiative, I forgave my parents. And after I forgave my parents, it was as if a weight off my shoulders came off. And then, after I forgave my parents, I also moved out. And ever since I moved out, I can say that I've been the most clear-headed, minded person. I feel like around the people. When I try to stand up, and this is America. God bless America. This is the best country on this side of heaven. And we have the U.S. Constitution. So talking about what Jesse Lee says about, homosexuals, women being sluts, that's not being the right thing. Anytime I bring that topic onto public, it seems to offend people.
Right.
But I say it in a tone where I have no sort of anger in my voice.
Yeah.
And it's just, to me, man, it's very troubling because as of now, I feel like there's a tension in the air. and it seems like everything going around, people wants to constrict not only every single thing you come out of your mouth, but also from your mind. Like you cannot even think it. So it's like almost a form of higher manipulation that people are not aware of.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about how easily people are influenced, and people don't realize how easily they are influenced. You can see it in other people more easily than you can see it in yourself, maybe. But I don't think there's even such a thing as thinking for yourself. I think there's only knowing for yourself. But people are like what Jesse says all the time, is you're either influenced by Satan or God. And I think that that's what's going on, is that people... And did you say that North Carolina is turning liberal?
It is, man. And to be honest, look, this been my town, you know, it's been my state for quite some time.
How old are you?
As a little kid, I never really seen anything. But now more than ever, I'm seeing it happen, like in front of me as of now. And for example, anytime I see a guy who has a feminine side to him, I always have an interaction with him. And in some end of the sentences, I will say, you know, here you go, man. You know, I will add up the men onto it
right.
At the end.
To remind him.
Correct. It's just due to the fact that it's just becoming they're becoming lost.
Yeah.
And it's very troubling because I am a man, and I recently had an incident with a African girl who thought, okay, this is what happened, who she thought that my voice was tough and was rude.
And this is an African immigrant or just a black American?
I'm thinking by the way they talking like this.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking they Africa.
Okay. Wow.
So look, so what happened
She
is
prefers you to sound like a beta?
Say again, I'm sorry.
She prefers that you sound like a beta male?
In my head, that's what I took it because her parent, also her dad, which was there with her. Then I said to him, would you like me to help you out? And then he himself was like, not your tone of voice is very rude. And I said, would you like to have some help? If not, next person, please. You know, right
wow.
Next to it.
Yeah.
But they were trying to make a big scene out of it, and I got a complaint for that.
Wow. That is interesting. I wasn't there, so I can't judge the situation, but that's, I don't know.
So technically what happened, it was she was just,
so you were
respectful.
You were an employee at that point in this situation.
Correct. So what happened is she technically just said my tone of voice was a little bit tough. And I said in my mind, I'm not a girl, therefore I won't speak soft.
Yeah.
I was being stern. So in my head I said, wow, man, what is the world coming to?
Yeah. Man, that is...
But you know, I thank you and I thank Jesse because thanks to both of you now I'm able to actually see these and I'm just so calm about it.
Yeah. So you got reprimanded at work for that?
Well, I wouldn't say...
Or just a complaint?
You said,
they submitted a complaint, nothing's happened.
Correct. Well, nothing happened because I believe I explained to the company.
Okay.
So this is what they told me. They say they wanted me to apologize, correct? And they said, well, you are in the hospitality business,
yeah.
Therefore you should apologize. And this is my response to that. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but in this occasion I was not wrong, therefore I will not say sorry. Because that's on her personal behalf, not on my point.
Okay, so are they still deciding what to do?
Well, maybe.
Okay.
Who knows? But, you know, regardless of what action happens, I stood my ground, and I will keep on standing my ground for my own rights, because it's this, America.
Right on, Christian. Christian, how old are you?
I am 24.
Okay. So you moved out at 24 or 23?
I moved out previously, but this is...
For the last time.
This is Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right on, man. Well, I wish you well on that. And yeah, just stay even so that they can't get you on any type of overreaction, that they'll have an excuse to lose you. But if you're a good employee, I'm sure they value you. There's this guy. I appreciate it, Christian. I got to move on.
Thank you, James. And
All right.
I will keep on calling when I have the time. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Before I finish up with the calls, there's this guy, Stephen A. Smith, who is like, in my opinion, I don't know if there's anybody more real on ESPN. And he's not the realest, but he's a pretty real guy. And he has had to apologize multiple times for not being totally politically correct, not kissing up to the women, not kissing up to blacks. Daniel reminded me blacks hate him. Not all, but many. The SJW types hate him because he's kind of reasonable. He's all over the place sometimes. Kind of like that guy, Charles Barkley, all over the place. Every now and then, a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? But he's more like genuine than whole lot of other people. They're just liberals over there. ESPN is a SJW network, right? But he may become the highest paid because they see value in him because he's real, I think. Realness is entertaining. Trump is real. He's entertaining. I remember Tucker Carlson wrote a piece in Politico, very good piece, like in 2015, 2016, that the truth is thrilling. And that's why people love Trump, because he tells the truth. And that's so much more bigger than the wall, too, by the way. The promise of the wall, it's gonna happen. The wall is going up. But he's real. And that's so much bigger than any political promise, because he lives up to just telling the truth. So Stephen A. Smith is going to become going from $5 million a year to possibly $8 to $10 million a year. So says the rumor. And why are political sports commentators? This guy's a sports commentator. Why are sports journalists, so-called journalists, so liberal? Well, I think it's because of this thing where they're journalists, they're intellectuals. They don't do anything. As Evan said, this conservative comedian says all the time, liberals in their jobs that they are attracted to, Hollywood, journalism, teaching, they don't do anything. They just act like they're doing something, or they tell people how to do stuff or whatever. They write about the people who do stuff or comment on the people who do stuff. So hence they're liberals. They don't do anything. They just talk about it. All talk, just intellectuals. Let's see. Ryan out of Colorado. How are you doing? And by the way, Jesse, real quick point. And Jesse is entertaining. He's real.
James.
And then the criticisms that I get, very few criticism, are when people perceive me not to be real. So realness is entertaining. Anyways, Ryan.
James.
Yeah. How you doing?
It's good to hear you.
Thank you.
It's pretty neat because your segment's almost like a whole nother Jesse calling segment.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it lets you guys get it off your chest.
That's right. So
Nice.
actually, why I'm calling is more of a get it off my chest kind of thing, and just kind of wanted, I guess, your opinion towards it. But I don't know if you have an opinion. I guess you're a beta, so it depends.
I got 3 minutes. Go for it.
What I'm having a hard time with is kind of like trust fund babies. I'm just trying to figure it out if it's beta fathers or just kids that are just staying beta, because there's good people and there's bad people that know what to do with cash. But when you have everything handed to you, I'm just having a really hard time relating to a lot of people my age in this area because their parents pay for everything.
How old are you?
I tried to 29.
Okay.
And it's and I'm being serious. There's kids older than me still accepting help from mom and dad, and it is so deeply frustrating. I try to explain that it's wrong, and just nobody seems to get it.
It's a shame that we have to refer to 30-year-olds and older as kids, but it's so true. People are not growing up, and this is why whites are not having babies, because people are not growing up, including whites. And and they're pushing off having kids because they want to go to college and get a career and dumb stuff.
It's kind of like talking to a wall when I'm trying to explain that it's wrong. And they tried to I just feel like they don't experience any of life's real problems, nor do they gain any sort of integrity or have any perception of a value of a dollar or anything like that. It's difficult.
Spoiling is so wrong, and people don't realize how wrong it is.
Well, it continues, like you said, they're kids still when they're upwards in mid-30s.
Yeah, people become totally stunted in different ways.
They definitely do. All right, well, let's go, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, Ryan. Nice to hear from you. Take care.
Take care.
Last call, Tiffany out of Florida, first-time caller. Tiffany, oh, yeah. Back to Tiffany. Thanks for holding. Sorry about that.
I was mobile.
Right on.
So basically, in 1952, there was an act that I think it's like.
You're still breaking up, Tiffany. Stay close to the phone and don't move. I'm going to let you talk. Go for it.
I'm right here. Okay. So basically, back in 1990, they repealed this act for Muslims, and they did it quietly. Like, nobody even knew what was going on until it already occurred. These people that repealed the Muslim Act and allowed Muslims to be back in office were people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. They did this all under the guise.
So what was the reason for not allowing the Muslims in as elected leaders?
Well, it was back in 1952 when they started this Warner Act, and it was basically because they could not assimilate to Western philosophies and Western.
Was that due to Sharia law? You there? Tiffany, can you hear me?
Yes.
That was due to Sharia law?
Yes, absolutely. And what you'll notice with Democrats is they do these things systematically, and they do them over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 30 years later, we're coming up with all this craziness.
Yep.
And you're going to see that a lot of things occurred back in the 80s and 90s that we didn't know about because we didn't have all this massive information.
Yeah, that
being
too.
able to be switched around so
Wow.
quickly. People were in the dark.
And Sharia law for you guys. I got to cut you off, Tiffany. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you.
Hey, bye.
All right, take care. Sharia law is anti-free speech. Just so you know, they don't believe in free speech. And various other things. Some worse than others, let's say. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you continuing to tune in. I'm James Hake of the Hake Report. Jesse will be back live tomorrow. You'll see us at 6 a.m. And, of course, church on Sunday. Men's Forum tonight. It's the first Thursday of the month. It's the best. Tonight at 7. Rebuildingtheman.com/event. And church Sunday. And, of course, this Saturday, couples seminar. Be there or be beta. Take care, guys.